Hello and welcome to another interview at EULA 2026 here in London. My name is Mikael Boesen. I'm a patient representative from Austria with EULA PARE. And I'm delighted to be joined today by Mikael Boesen. He's a professor at the University in Copenhagen, and he's an expert in musculoskeletal imaging and associated research. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Michael, and thank you so much for the invitation. Happy to be here. So how can I help you?
You've been speaking at a session about digitalization in rheumatology and specifically about the use of AI in imaging. So maybe you can tell us to start with where we are at the moment. How is this technology used and is it working for us? Can you maybe give us a bit of an overview of that kind of subject?
Yeah, AI has come on everybody's lips since 2022 when ChatGPT, let's say, released the first version of that large language model. But actually, artificial intelligence has been here as a concept since the early 1950s, where John McCarthy actually named it artificial intelligence in order to attract more funding. So it's not an old field. It's actually an old field, but it comes with iterations as computers becoming more and more powerful. AI is in everything that we do within imaging, because imaging, radiology, where I come from, we've been digital since the millennium change. So we've been paperless and worked in a digital pathway. So the whole patient journey is digitalized ever since. And so we are the specialty that has the most experience with actually that digitalization. So we've seen the benefits, but also the side effects and the pitfalls. And especially now since 2019, something like that, when the first decision support AI algorithms came out, so that actually could see things on an image and aid a non-experienced person to see something that they didn't know before. That, let's say, increased the hype. And we have riding that hype circles ever since. Artificial intelligence is not intelligent at all. The definition is more like, let's say, guesswork based on past events, because it's trained on retrospective data that it has available. And if you're not included in the data, you're not seen in the technology. So that's the side effect here. It doesn't detect something that we couldn't see before. Yes, you have examples where people say, I asked ChatGPT and it found my diagnosis. Yes, because ChatGPT is a mathematical equation. So what it comes out with is stochastic, as it's called. It's math, so it's based on probability. So if you ask it enough times, then actually it's right in a certain number of times. You just don't know when. And this is, the dangerous part of it. We should use technology because we're drowning in data. We're generating so much data right now in healthcare, so we're doubling data every 10 to 14 days in Europe. Wow. And it's exponentially increasing. So half a year from now, it might be a week, and then you just do the math. So if we don't grasp the technology that can assist us, like becoming cyborgs, we are not replacing people as a robot or a Terminator terminology. That's for Hollywood and others to, let's say, make the hype around. But if we use technology smart, we can actually also make more benefits. We can increase awareness of things, especially in areas where there's no specialist. This is where it makes most sense. But the danger there is also that the people that then will use it do not have the expertise to oversee it, so that they can actually see when it's wrong and when it's right. So you need to be an expert in order to see through that. Yeah. And that's what is the balance here. So how should we grasp that in medicine? Because we're dealing with patients. We're not dealing with a factory where a certain number of events can go wrong. We should prevent and preserve the patient's right, as well as their data protection, and on top of that, also their safety first and foremost.
Yeah, but is it okay to say that now we are in a much better place? We can actually detect things much earlier now compared to what we used to by using these technologies. Obviously, with the proviso that someone obviously will look over it and make sure that everything is used in the correct sense. Are we now in a better place to come to maybe a place where things can be detected before permanent damage is done?
I think that this is a difficult question to ask, because you can find papers stating that. You can also find a lot of papers, especially currently, that states the opposites. I would say that no, we are not there yet, because the technology, again, is based on the data that it has been trained on. And if you look where the data come from, primarily it's from China and the US. And these, let's say, geographies, they are not necessarily representative of a person in Germany or in Hungary or in Denmark or in the UK. And if you're not included in the data, you're not seen in the technology. And especially if you have rare diseases. So if rare diseases, it's difficult to detect and there's not much data to train on. So this is not where you should get the help. Where you can get the help right now, and where I foresee that the most benefit lies, is in the administrative work that the data that we're generating actually are drowning us in. So we will kind of use it to release time to the core expertise, so that the expertise and all the physician can get time to actually engage with the patient again. Because right now, because of technology, we're looking into screen, typing while talking to the patient. So we are actually making a cleft between the classical physician and the patient. And we have to reintroduce that in order to increase the benefits. So this is where I see that the benefit lies in. Not that you can detect something earlier that we couldn't see before, nor to detect something which is strange or rare, because this is where the technology really struggles.
Yeah. Okay, that's very interesting to hear. Thank you very much for that. So thank you for joining us for this interview. And this is us at London EULA 2026. And please join us again for more interviews. Thank you very much.